What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about the Bitcoin bull, TBB. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here, and let's get into it. I don't want to mess around. I want to make multiple videos today, and I don't really have a lot of time to do it. So I'm just going to hop right into the TA. I didn't make a video yesterday. Had to run some errands in the morning. It just didn't work out, man. I've got two kids, right? People are like, why don't you just make videos if you've got time later? It's like, I do have time later, but my kids are asleep in the early mornings. And then whenever they wake up, it's just really hard to make videos without getting distracted, right? It goes from like 3 videos, 4 videos an hour to 2 videos an hour once the kids are awake, or less. Like it just, you got to make food, you got to brush your teeth, you got to make sure the baby's not messing with things that she can die with. Anyways, I'm explaining myself and I really don't need to. All I'm trying to say here is let's get into it. TA, okay? Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all. Here we are at 1.17 cents, 10 hours, 26 minutes left. We've seen a massive drop, guys. From a high to a low, 90% drop overall. Crazy, crazy stuff. What's really nice about this drop, first off, is the opportunity that it presents. Massive opportunity here. The volume has gotten lower and lower every step of the way, and these the largest spikes in the volume happen to be on these wicks, on this wick here, on these far-reaching wicks here. So I do believe that there are people every step of the way taking nibbles out of this, There's a lot of FUD, and I'm going to ask you to all be responsible for your actions here because there's a lot of FUD in this TBB space right now. There's a lot of people trying to FUD Jason and FUD this coin, and of course, only at the lows, not at the highs, at the lows. I had someone yesterday telling me that they were issuing a warrant or whatever. They're suing Jason. They're going after him with Interpol. And I said, if that's true, send me the paperwork. And they haven't sent me the paperwork. They can't. They send me proof of that, right? If you're launching a formal investigation, you must have some evidence of this, right? They have no evidence, so they're not going to. Even if they did, they'd lose this, right? Because they said that they've done this before, and I think this is all part of the lie. I think again, I don't know whether it's a bot that's doing this, whether it's somebody with malicious intent, or whether it's somebody who's just literally dumb and burned. And again, they want to add some FUD to the bottom. I don't know what the reason is, but they said that they've done this before to Jason. And if that's true, if you've sued him before for malpractice or whatever in this meme community, then you clearly didn't win, because if you did, you would have also, if you're the type to talk about this publicly, you would have said, I've sued him and gotten money before because he was found guilty of this. Like that. That's different than just saying, oh, I sued him before. Because you can sue people. Elon Musk has been sued thousands of times, hundreds of times, for things that he walked away clean with, that he was not guilty of. It's not because he has money and he has a lot of lawyers, though I'm sure that helps, but it's because he wasn't actually guilty of a lot of these things. Like the SEC was trying to go after him a few times for posting on X. There's one time that he did settle one time, but they went after him like dozens of times, guys. And after that one time that he settled, he started fighting back afterwards. I'm getting off on a whole different point. All I'm trying to say is there's a specific fudder, but there's probably multiple fudders who are trying to tarnish the TBB name and Jason's name and make it out as if like this is a scam project. It's not. It really isn't. You just follow the spaces, follow along, understand who you're dealing with Jason Williams and this TBB community. You've got diamond hand holders, okay? You've got a man who's got hundreds of millions, if not over $1 billion to his name, to his net worth. The amount of money that's been extracted from this project, at least from the picture that I saw from this person, the amount of money that's been extracted from this project since it's existed by bots is over $1 million. Here's the thing, guys, every project that exists, every single one, has bots that are trying to extract money. And those bots are not that successful. They're not that successful in Bitcoin and Solana and Ethereum, but they're very successful in these low market cap coins where they can influence the price more with less money. Okay, there are bots that are successful that are in these higher market cap coins, but they need to have more money backing them. They also need to have probably more sophisticated software. But some of these bots lose money too. There's probably plenty of bots who tried here that also lost money. I've paid attention to those. But yeah, there's some money that's being extracted. But this person wanted to say that $1 million was extracted from bots, and that means it was Jason. First off, You're aware that there's a world around us, right? There could be hundreds of people using hundreds of bots or dozens of bots a piece, and they're extracting a piece of that million. These extractors from around the world, and also on top of that, $1 million for a billionaire. You think he went through all this trouble talking about it on his timeline, being very, very, let's just say, flamboyant with this on his timeline, so much so that it's obvious that this is his coin, that he's more or less responsible for it in the community that he's created, and then all these people are getting excited. You think that he went through all the trouble for $1 million? Dude's got connections. I'm sure if he needed $1 million, he could like get a loan from a buddy. You know, like if he really needed $1 million. I don't think that makes any sense. What does make sense is that somebody would make things up. That somebody would make things up at the lows and FUD because they don't like him, because people are like that. I literally asked for proof. I asked for proof of what this person was claiming they were doing, and they have not provided it yet. We'll see. Even if they do provide proof, I would go a step further and say, let me know when this works out, because it's probably not going to work out. It likely will not work out at all. Either that or Jason's going to be on the run from the law, and in which case, that just makes this coin more palpable. No, but no, that's probably not going to happen. Anyways, 1.18 cents right now. We're moving up. Enough of the drama. Let's talk about the TA. I don't even know how much of that makes sense, how much of that sounds like the ravings of a madman. But I had to get it off my chest. There's a bunch of FUD, man. There's a bunch of people trying to FUD. And of course, all these really informational, really good-willed, quote-unquote, people who just want to help you, take money and not promote something that's going to just go down and rug pull all this BS. It only comes out at the bottom. These same people were all talking it up at the highs, all talking it up here. And the reality is what a lot of these fudders are not paying attention to is, and I've been paying attention to this over the past few days since we've been dropping, is that in the top 20, 90% of these wallets have added to their position. The top wallets here are not selling. They are not the reason why we dropped so much. They're not the reason why at all. There were a couple top wallets that got out. There were a couple top wallets that, if they didn't get out completely, they got out enough to where they're not in the top wallets anymore. But they sold and took profits. At the high, these wallets are worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Whenever you have a coin that's $40 million, that's $20 million in market cap, and you've got hundreds of thousands of dollars exiting the market, you're going to get fluctuations down. And again, the real reason why we're dropping, you guys, it's not because of any of this FUD. It's not because of TBB or TBB or any of this. The reason why we're dropping, really simply, and if you don't have to agree with me on this, but 100% this is a fact. The reason why we're dropping is because from a low point on July 1st to a high point on July 26th, over a 25-day period, we saw 328x growth. From this low point here, where most people had already gotten in, even from the high point here, you had a 6x growth, which is still a lot. 6x is a lot in a very short amount of time, in less than a month. You had people of all walks of life who had ample opportunity to get in on this thing on the way up, on these consolidation phases, whatever, who saw intense, immense gains. And then it starts to behave a little bit differently, so they take those gains. Instead of at the top taking them, they take them here. And they take them irresponsibly. They just flood the market with these sell orders. Why? Because this is new to them. They've never seen this kind of money before, or maybe they have once and they don't know what to do with it. Their face isn't public for people to see. I didn't sell a drop, and I want to make a point of this before we actually get into the TA. I didn't sell a drop. I was talking about selling here on the next leg up if we went up, and I said if we go down, I'm not selling a drop. You're not getting it from me. No way. I'm holding. I'm going to buy more. And I am going to buy more. Once that freaking money clears, man. I wish it cleared already. I figured out why it didn't clear, so I won't make that mistake again. But whatever. Anyways, the whole point that I'm trying to make here is I didn't sell. People are saying, you should have sold, you should have sold. Dude, if I made it public that I sold a quarter of my bag, half of my bag, my whole bag, I unloaded, whatever, at the top, 100%, there's zero doubt in my mind, I would be blamed right now for this drop. People from my own community who are diamond hand holders like me, people from my own community who not just diamond hand are holding, but they're buying more on this drop, they wouldn't be doing that. They probably would have sold some. They would have taken some. They would have followed my lead. I am aware of the influence that I have in this coin. I myself at the top, I'm a top 20 wallet. There's a lot of money at the top. There's still a lot of money in it now. All I'm trying to say is myself selling is going to have a negative impact on the price if I do it all in a very short amount of time, let alone the social impacts. I'm not just going to sell and not tell you guys. I'm going to tell. I'm going to tell you guys when I do. This way, now I know for a fact that this kind of behavior was not caused by me. And you guys know it too. I didn't sell a drop. Jason has my wallet address. He can back that up. He can validate that. I wouldn't be saying these things. I'll say these things honestly, even if nobody had my wallet. But he's got my wallet. He can validate that. There's a couple other people who have my wallet too that know they can validate that. I'm not telling any lies here. I haven't sold a drop. But the next time that it goes up, the next time that we're at like $100 million market cap or more, yeah, I'm going to start to take profits off the table slowly. I'm not going to drop it all at once. Initially up here, I said that whenever we moved up, I'm going to take 5% off the table, just 5%. Let the rest fly. But we didn't even get to that yet. All I'm trying to say here is, I didn't sell a drop. A lot of these top 20 wallets, a lot of these top 40 wallets did not sell. And in fact, they've added more. I've been paying attention. There are new wallets climbing the ranks. There's new wallets in the top 10 now. And there's actually what you typically see in a drop like this, and when meme coins die off and they never return, is you see the top wallets evacuate the building. They evacuate. What you don't see is them adding more. Siphoning. These are people who've been holding for about a month. For a month, Jason Williams, for the month of this thing's existence, this whole existence, Jason Williams has owned 70% of the supply. That means there's 30% of the supply floating out there. And of that 30%, roughly half of it, a little bit over half, was locked up by the top 20 wallets. And now there's more. Now they have more, which means there's more of the supply that's locked up by people who haven't sold at a 5x, a 6x, at a 16x, at a 100x. There's people who are diamond handing this thing. The supply is literally going to experience a supply shock, and this is the type of stuff you see whenever these crazy rallies happen. I don't necessarily want us to just rally, V-shaped rally up here. I think if we see that, we're going to get a massive correction. I think that's what's going to happen if we do that. I would rather it be this slow, drawn-out process, this kind of tradable moment of time that can happen, and then it's late August that we're up here. Yeah, if we could consolidate in this area for a long time, I think that would be better. Why? Because whenever we get up here, now the consolidation will be a little bit more palpable. It won't just be this 90% drop over a 4-day period. But whatever. It's a meme coin. It's going to do what it's going to do. Bitcoin had drops just like this in its beginning phases, man. It really did. Anyways, getting into the TA now. What an intro. 1 hour time frame here. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame here, okay? Yesterday I made a post on X talking about this bull flag. We moved up. We've got this bull flag here, right? You can kind of see it for what it's worth, right? This bull flag. And if this thing is breaking out of this bull flag, which I don't know, this is kind of a weak breakout, but it's not uncommon. You know, you form a bull flag like this, and then whenever you break out, it's not uncommon for that secondary move to be weaker. It's as far as velocity goes. But the idea of a bull flag would be that you hit the same target. The measure move is the same length as the flagpole that brought you up here. So from a low to a high, measuring that, and then putting it at the low of the flag, that measure move, you guys, takes us all the way up to 2.1 cents. It takes us all the way up to 2.1 cents, which would basically eradicate, from a logarithmic perspective, half of this drop, right? We go from a 90% drop overall, from a high to that area. That would be about a 50% drop almost, right? 57. It's not quite half, but about half. On the chart, it looks like half. It looks like it's cut in half. Percentage-wise, maybe not, but percentages are weird. On top of that, we look at this on a 4-hour time frame. See, that's our measure move. We can't really get that from here because it's such a small time frame. From a high to a low, that target takes us right into the heart of our golden ratio as well. From the high to low of this movement here, right, we've got this actually right there. Boom, high to low. The golden ratio is at 1.99 to 2.35 cents. We're at 1.18 cents now. Potentially moving up. Let's say this bull flag doesn't work out. Because I also do believe that there are people who genuinely don't like Jason. There are enemies out here. Regardless of who they are or what their intent is or who they're working for or whatever, I think that there are people who are maliciously pushing the price down. that are extracting money, but they're using their bots more so to push the price down, which probably makes them less money, but they're okay with that because they have a vendetta against Jason, or maybe they have a vendetta against all coins, and this is just something that literally all meme coins experience in their early days. They go through these kind of fights. A lot of them don't come back. A lot of them don't, but there are good ones, special ones that do. And this one is special, man. Well, like I was saying, when the community is building in these times, whenever the community is not flopping, they're diamond handing and buying more, which is what we're seeing. When the figurehead behind this is airdropping to people at the lows and they're not selling their airdrops, they're holding. Well, a little thought too. I don't know if Jason's watching this or anybody who talks to him regularly is watching this. I could just message him, but he's his own man. He can do whatever he wants. But if you're hearing this, my thoughts are, I like the idea because I'm pretty sure he airdropped to 60 unique new addresses who've never been airdropped before here. My thoughts are, maybe don't do that. Maybe don't. The reason why, you should probably airdrop to people who specifically have been holding for a long time. That's the people that I would airdrop to. Why? Because if they're new, if they've never been airdropped before and they're new, you're picking people who might have bought the highs or something like that. They're going to sell those airdrops, or likely you're going to have more selling pressure. Where if you have people who've been diamond handing this whole time, they're not going to sell. Just food for thought. We did dump after those airdrops happened, and I think it's because they were given to people who were probably more inclined to take that money instead of hold that money. But that's just a thought. Whatever. Airdrop to whoever you want. It's your coins to airdrop to, so whatever. But it's just a little food for thought there. Even if this bull flag doesn't work out, even if the bull flag doesn't work out and we come back down, we're still earmarked for this 382 level. We still found resistance here, or sorry, the golden ratio level, the 618 level. We consolidated here below the 382, and now we're ready to run up. This would be the next target area with or without the bull flag in mind. You can come down, whatever. This is still the next target area. As long as we're above 008 on a consistent closing basis, it's not really messed up. We could go lower. It's possible, but again, I don't believe that we're going to go lower. And the reason for that is if we take this low to high here, low here to the high here, we actually bounced right off the 382. We bounced right off the 382. And I've said this a lot in my, has it been 3 years or 4 years now of this channel's existence? I think it's been 4 years. I've said this a lot in the time of this channel's existence. I've thought this a lot and understood this a lot in my 11 years of technical analytics, okay? When you have a strong trend, which I would call a 300x over that in less than a month, a pretty damn strong trend, you look for a bounce specifically right at the 382. I didn't call for it. You might be thinking in your head, well, if that's the case, why didn't you call for it up here? Because I'm not going to call for a 90% dump. That just seemed crazy to me. Even coming down to the 236 seemed crazy to me. I was thinking we'd find support here. But here we are bouncing right off the 382, right off of this nipple right here, literally right off of this consolidation phase, our primary consolidation here. Volume's dropping. Not only that, but the lows are also rounding out. We're getting less of a slope down here. We're rounding out. We could still go lower. It's a possibility, but I don't think we will because of that 382. We could come down from here and this bull flag's busted, but we're getting a higher low and we're rounding out our bottoms. The volume is decreasing as we're moving down. There will be an upside to this. And to some people, they think that this upside needs to be robust. It needs to come back even more strong. That'd be nice. That'd build a lot of conviction. It definitely would, but it sets us up for volatility still, right? If we build a path that's less conviction and more, I don't know, maybe, you're going to have people who are shaken out who would have sold at the all-time high levels, who would have sold once it reached $100 million, who now, because they're shaken out, they're not going to sell. The people who bought here, they have higher targets in mind. The people who bought here, they have higher targets in mind. You know what I mean? I'd rather us stair-step our way, consolidate, not just see a rapid recovery, but we're dealing with a low market cap meme coin, a low liquidity meme coin. A little bit of money will push this thing up a lot. It doesn't take much. So we'll see. At the end of the day, I'm happy with either result, but I do believe that we're going to be moving up from here. The next technical target from here is 1.9 to 2.3 cents. That's the area, the golden ratio. That's my expectation. It's an area of somewhat of significance over here. We go back here. There's prior resistance there. It's the measure move of this bull flag right there. I think that's where we're going to go. A lot of panic, a lot of negative emotion, a lot of FUD down here. It makes sense that there's a lot of irrational selling that's going on. And what happens with irrational selling is, again, something is said or done that generates an emotional charge, a negative emotional charge in you. And then what do you do to validate that emotional charge? You look at the price. You don't think about what you're holding. You don't think about the community. You don't think about the person who's in charge of this who made this, or the people like me who support this. You don't think about any of that logical stuff. You just think about, oh my God, this random person who I've never ever heard from before ever, and is just saying things that sound completely bad. And then I look at the price. Oh, this person must be telling the truth. It's not what happens. And so oftentimes enough, people who say negative things, they heard it from somebody who heard it from somebody who literally just started it to cause chaos. And that's just being had here. And what builds that conviction? What's the nail in the coffin for that FUD? It's the price action. So whenever all this FUD exists, but the price is moving up, wait a second, I thought this was a scam. Why did we just do a 4x? How come from a low to a high, this scam literally just pulled a 4x and went to this golden ratio move and is respecting all these technical levels in the chart? How come this is starting to make sense? It's because you got fudded out of your bags, bro. And then you're going to buy back higher, or you're going to wait for it to drop and then you're going to buy back lower. And there's just all this money sitting on the sidelines that's ready to get in. There really is. And nobody loves anything more whenever it comes to price action than a comeback story. Price action is the most validating thing that exists. When we're at new all-time highs, people will more confidently buy because they know how rare it is for a coin to drop and then come back. But the thing is, guys, most coins don't do this. This is very rare behavior. Most coins, they get that initial pop, there, and then they're gone forever. They're gone in the winds. This is different, man. It's already different. It's already proven itself. People are trying to say, yeah, but statistically speaking, it's going to go low. Statistically speaking, most coins don't hold this kind of market cap level for this long. Statistically speaking, most coins aren't in the position that we're in now. Statistically speaking, most meme coins, after they've dropped this much, their figurehead steps down and stops communicating. Jason only, I feel like, is communicating more. And I'm getting rambunctious, man. I'm communicating more as well. Maybe not yesterday. Ebbs and flows. I've got my own things going on in the real world too, but I still post about TBB every single day. Anyways, that's enough. This video went on way too long. I'm not going to have time to make another video, so hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Moving up, next target is like 2 to 2.3 cents, somewhere in there. And once we see new all-time highs, the target area that I'm anticipating, the primary target zone, is anywhere from 9 cents to 20.5 cents. And absolutely, we can move higher. Yes, we're talking about multi-$100 million market cap being a potential target, and even beyond that, something that's like $500 million. And of course, in time, that $1 billion level will happen, but it's just not going to happen all at once. It's not going to happen all at once. Anywho, toodaloo. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.